What did we get in the mail today? Singapore. I wonder what it could be. What's going on, guys? Mike here, back in the aquarium lab with a brand new video. Today, I want to talk about buying plants off eBay and how you can maybe be a little bit more successful at it. If you guys have ever bought plants off of eBay before, you know that it can kind of be like flipping a coin. I've had really good luck in the past, and I've also had really bad luck in the past. However, I've developed a little bit of a strategy when it comes to buying plants off of eBay, and I want to share it with you because I think it can help you guys out. So for a lot of you, you don't have a local fish store nearby where you can buy plants, and then you're forced to buy them online. You can buy them from accredited websites. There's a lot of YouTubers that sell plants, so eBay isn't the only option, but sometimes when you want a specific plant that everybody else doesn't have, it's kind of the only option. Before I get into explaining my strategy for buying plants, let's first take a look at what came in the mail today. So you can see here, guys, I already ripped open the package because, hey, I got a little excited. I wanted to see how the plants were packaged on the inside, but I haven't looked at the actual plants. You can see they're in some newspaper here that hasn't been opened yet. I have no idea what condition these plants are in, so you're gonna get my actual reaction to the plants. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start opening up the package to reveal the mystery plant that I bought. So I ended up getting this narrow leaf Java fern. What is this, like three? We can break this up into a few different pieces, or we can just leave them all together and put them in the tank, which is what I'm probably gonna do. But there's, you can continue to break it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that. There's some pretty good pieces, and if we look closer, let's try and get a focus on that. Oh, maybe not. You can see the plants look pretty good. I'm actually really impressed with how these shipped. They just came in a bag. No water, of course. These all look pretty good. I'm actually really impressed. I was kind of I didn't know what to think. I mean, buying a plant from so far away, I mean, the ship time on this was more than a week, so you can imagine that I was concerned for that reason. Usually when I buy plants off of eBay, I make sure that, it's going to be like a 3 to 4 day process total for the shipping, just so I can get those plants faster and we'll have less potential problems that are associated with the shipping. So I was a little nervous about this one, but it looks, I mean, so far so good. Everything looks really great. Now, when it comes to buying plants off of eBay, my strategy is this. I guess in my opinion, there are two main routes when it comes to buying plants. One, you can choose to buy a plant from a person who is selling plants, or you can buy plants from a business that is selling plants. And so when it comes to eBay, there's a lot of individual sellers, we'll call them, and there are a few really reputable businesses that sell plants. Now, when it comes to buying from an individual, there tends to be a little bit more uncertainty as far as the quality of the product you're gonna get. And that's basically because individuals are probably all gonna ship the plants differently, and shipping is the most important part, in my opinion, when you're buying plants online. Obviously, the overall quality of the plant is important too. I mean, you could ship a plant really well, but if the plant sucks, then the plant's gonna suck. Obviously, it starts with what plant you want, do some searches, pick a few different listings of the same plant that you know you want, and then compare them. Look at whether or not it's a business or whether or not it's an individual. Obviously, look at their seller history and their customer ratings and satisfaction ratings and things like that, and then narrow it down to a few different choices. Whether it's an individual or a business, I don't think it should matter at this point. Now, once you do that, I think it's important to start out with a few test purchases. So let's use my S Repens as an example here, because the massive carpet that I have in the 72, which is now in the 90 and also in the 125, that all came from an individual seller on eBay. So how did I do this? Did I go and buy all of that S Repens all at once? Did I spend $200-300 on all that S Repens? No, I didn't. What I did was I made a test purchase from this individual. I also made a test purchase from a business, I won't name it, and I received 2 bunches of S Repens from 2 different entities. Now, when I got them, I just evaluated what I got. I looked at the quality of the plants, I looked at the amount of the plants that came, and how much money each one cost, because that's also really important. When you buy plants online, it might say, 12 stems of this plant, and you think, hey, that's a pretty good number. I feel like, that could fill up a decent portion of my scape. This is what I need. But then when you get those 12 stems, you might find that it's actually 8 stems, or you have that variability that you can't control. Now you can always dispute things with the seller, but let's not get into that portion of it, okay? You want to evaluate the test purchases and look at just which one is overall better. Did one cost a little bit more, but the product was a lot higher quality? The plants came in and they looked really good and they ended up doing well in your tank, versus the other ones came in, they were a little cheaper, but they ended up not working out. It's one of those things that you have to do a little bit of research, and unfortunately you do need to spend a little bit of money to go make a more informed decision later on that involves investing a little bit more money. So this is a way that you can save yourself from getting burned when buying your plants online. Now, in the case of the S-Repens again, I ended up buying from an individual seller because the business that sent me the S-Repens actually sent me a tissue culture, and it just totally ended up not working. Now, I have nothing against tissue cultures. I've had really good success with them in the past. The Pogo Stamon that I got was a tissue culture, and as you know from looking at it in my tanks, it ended up doing really great. So nothing against tissue cultures. It just happened that the business that I bought the tissue culture S-Repens from ended up not working for me. So once I got the really good S-Repens from the individual seller, what did I do? I contacted them. I said, hey, look, I want a lot of this plant. How much do you have? Because when it comes to an individual seller, the supply isn't always 100% guaranteed. With a business, you can kind of assume if it's a popular plant that they're gonna have a lot of it. That might not always be the case, but I think it's, in general, you can assume that. So I asked the woman that I bought the plants from, hey, how much of this do you have? I'm interested in buying a lot more because I really loved what you sent me. This is a way to find out if you need to buy more plants now, or you have time to wait, because a lot of times with individual sellers, they're selling a limited amount that they have in their tank, and you might buy some one week, get it the next week, and then when you go to want to buy more, they're out of it, and you're you're totally out of luck there. You have to go find somebody else to buy from, and that's one of the drawbacks. So I found out that this woman had a limited supply, and I said, hey, look, I want to buy as much of this from you as you can sell me. What kind of a deal can you give me? And so that really helps out. She's gonna be able to sell more faster to me because I want a ton of it. So I ended up getting a discount when I ended up buying like 10 quantities of what I originally bought. A lot of sellers have deals on their website, buy 5 stems, get 2 extra, but taking that further step and contacting them personally and saying, hey, look, this is what I want to do, that can get you a little bit more leverage and end up helping you get an even better deal than you would otherwise. Another thing I also want to mention is that I try and find sellers that are based within the US so I can get that fast shipping. These plants ended up coming from Singapore. This narrow leaf Java fern is really hard to find right now. I don't know what the deal is. I can't get it at my local fish store. I haven't looked at any of the big box stores because honestly, I never buy plants from those places. And even on eBay, the only sellers of this plant were international ones. They look really good and I'm impressed with what I got. So I'm excited to get this in a tank. I actually have some of this in the 72 within the driftwood by the Tetra Cave, and I actually got this stuff, not this stuff, but the previous shipment of narrow leaf Java fern from an individual seller that's no longer selling it on eBay. Again, one of the drawbacks. So I had to go look for another seller of this stuff, and the only ones that I could find were international ones. What I'm gonna do now is I'm not gonna put it directly into the Tetra tank because I don't know where this has been. I don't know if it's been in a fish tank with fish. We don't know if it has any parasites or anything on it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna, treat it with chemicals or anything, which you can do. You could do a bleach dip or something if you wanted to. But I'm just gonna go ahead and put it into my holding tank, the little 15-gallon rimless over here that has my shrimp in it. And we're gonna let it float in there for about a week just to be on the safe side. Again, I don't think there's gonna be any problems here, but you never know. So I've been kind of trying to hide this tank because it was a special project that I did, and you know, it didn't really quite turn out the way that I wanted it to. So we're not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna get into any details about that, not yet at least. So we're just gonna float these plants in here for a while, you know, a few days to a week probably, unless I electrocute myself. I'm pretty liberal when it comes to quarantining fish, and especially plants, guys. It's one of those things that some people have a really strong opinion about, and I think that it's important to have a strong opinion about that. It's just something that isn't always 100% realistic all of the time, and I know that's sort of, you know, kind of a vague way to put it, but, you know, the odds of this causing a problem over in my Tetra tank is pretty low in my opinion. And, you know, I don't want this video to end up being about quarantining stuff. That's, you know, would take a long time to fully discuss all of that. We're just gonna leave this in here for about a week before we go ahead and put it over here in the Tetra tank. So yeah, guys, if you ever have to buy plants off of eBay for whatever reason, I really recommend that you consider the process that I highlighted in this video. Again, that process is 1, find a couple of sellers that sell the plant that you want. 2, go ahead and make some test purchases, and also consider location of where those sellers are shipping the plant from. Try and get it as close to where you live as possible to minimize the risks that are associated with shipping plants. 3, once you've determined which seller that you want to buy more of these plants from, go ahead and try and contact them. If it's a business, that might be a little more tricky. If it's an individual, chances are they're going to be able to hook it up if you can buy enough of the product. Using these simple methods, I think you guys are gonna have a much higher success rate when it comes to buying plants on a site like eBay. But I wanna hear what you guys think about buying plants on eBay. Let me know in the comments below. Have you had good luck? Have you had bad luck? What's your experience been? Help share that with others so hopefully they can make some more informed decisions. That's what this channel is all about, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and head over to Instagram and check out all the pictures I'm posting over there. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.